Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. So we have celebration of the International Literacy Day. For the national scene, COVID-19, more than 200,000 dead in Africa. Welcome to our newsroom. The President of the Republic begins a private stay in Europe. The head of state, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, left the country this Wednesday mid-morning for a private stay in Europe. This trip of President Guelleh abroad comes in the last phase of the summer session. At the time of his departure, the President of the Republic was greeted at the Djibouti International Airport by a large guard of honor, including the Prime Minister, acting head of government. The National Union of Women of Djibouti celebrates today, Wednesday, September 8, the International Literacy Day 2021 at the People's Palace, in collaboration with the Ministry of National Education, Vocational Training, the Minister of Social Affairs, Solidarity, the Minister of Women and Family. The day began with a projection of an annual assessment of the achievement fight against literacy in our country. Literacy is an essential vector of access to reading, writing, and arithmetic, and a concept through which wishes to make possible the access of greatest number to culture is a national priority of the government. The ceremony was chaired by the Secretary General of UNFD. It was attended by the Minister of National Education, Vocational Training, Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, the Minister of Women and Family, Muna Usman Aden, the Minister of Social Affairs Solidarity, Ulufa Ismail Abdo, the UNDP representative, Fatima El Sheikh. The ceremony was also attended by the French ambassador to Djibouti, Arnaud Guillois, the President of the Municipality of Balbala and Boulaous, the Secretary General of the Minister of Social Affairs Solidarity and UNFD parliamentarian, and various international organizations in Djibouti. Parliamentarian, local elected officials, representative of UN agencies and civil society figures also honored with their presence this beautiful ceremony, which was rich in color after a wide-ranging review of the functional adult literacy program over the past year, which was disrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic. The officials took the podium one after another. They made a strong plea for increased commitment to literacy in a lifelong learning perspective. The Secretary General of the UNFD opened the speech by emphasizing the importance of this day for Djibouti. Literacy is an essential vector of access to reading, writing, and arithmetic, a concept through which it wishes to make possible the access of the greatest number to cultures in a national priority of the government. As for the Minister of Social Affairs, Ms. Ulufa Ismail Abdo said in her speech that fighting literacy was part of the perspective of a better human capital for Djibouti. In other words, an action that is part of the government's agenda. The Minister of National Education Vocational Training, Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, who mentioned in his speech the wide assessment of the literacy programs. Literacy is an essential vector of access to reading, writing, and arithmetic, and a concept through which is to make possible the access of the greatest number to culture is a national priority of the government. The Minister of Women and Family, Muna Usman Aden, emphasized that this team calls for a strengthening of commitment to literacy in a perspective for lifelong learning. Literacy is an essential vector of access to reading, writing, and arithmetic, and a concept through which it wishes to make possible the access of the greatest number to culture in a national priority. Following the example of their peers in the rest of the country, more than 550 secondary school students from the General and Technical School of Ali Sabih returned to their school yesterday. Thus, the head of the school and teachers were present to welcome the students. The Deputy Prefect of Ali Sabih, Omar Idris Sugi, accompanied by the President of the Regional Council, Omar Ahmed Wais, the Member of Parliament, Abdi Khair Bouh, and the National Education Inspector Ahmed Hamadou Ibrahim visited the main schools in the city of Ali Sabih yesterday in order to personally ensure the smooth running of the new school year. First of all, the officials of the region and their companion went to the high school area. Upon their arrival at the gate, the officials and their companion were greeted by the principal Ahmed Abdul Qadir, who welcomed them to his establishment. A few moments later, he introduced them to the second grade classes. The distinguished visitor all wished a good school year to the new students who have all successfully passed their admissions for junior high to high school. Indeed, as everywhere in the country, the secondary and technical schools returned class this Monday in the region of Tajara. 1,000 high school students returned to school by joy and meeting serenity. A delegation composed of the prefect of the deputy prefect Habib Jilani and the local elected and technical advisor, the regional inspector, the team of the pedagogical supervision, the person in charge of the Paris and gendarmerie, the police went successively the school of the chief town of the region to supervise the good progress of this school year. The schools are required to apply a health protocol in which are recorded the barriers to be respected in the context of the prevention of COVID-19. The member of the delegation wished the pedagogical team, teacher and students, the high school an excellent start to the school years, a year of success and better results. For the international scene, COVID-19, Africa paces the 200,000 deaths mark. Africa paces the 200,000 deaths mark on Tuesday since the start of the coronavirus pandemic, with the impoverished continent suffering from a severe lack of vaccines, with less than 3% of its population fully immunized to date. The 54 countries of the region which have been relatively spared compared to the rest of the world and which have escaped the catastrophic scenarios feared at the beginning of the health crisis total 225 deaths, but these figures are based on the daily reports of the health authority of each country in the World Health Organization, and they reflects only a fraction of the real total number of contaminations. Mexico, an earthquake of magnitude 7.1 shakes the south of the country. An earthquake of magnitude 7.1 on the Richter scale strikes Guerrero in southern Mexico. The National Seismological Center said in a statement that the earthquake occurred on Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. local times, 14 kilometers southeast of the city of Acapulco. He added that the earthquake occurred at the death of 10-kilometer Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador said in a tweet that there was no significant damage in the states that left the earthquake. For his part, the governor of the state of Guerrero, Hector Astudillo, said that one person died because of the earthquake, stressing that there was no risk of a tsunami in the ports of Acapulco. U.S. President Joe Biden calls for actions on climate change a few days after assessment of damage in New Orleans. The President of the United States visited New Jersey, a state neighboring New York that was severely affected by Storm Ida, and then the New York districts of Queens. Joe Biden called for immediate actions against climate change. We need to listen to the scientists, the economists, the national security experts, all of whom are telling us that we are on red alert that the countries and the world are at risk because of climate disruptions, he said in a speech from Queens after visiting an area hard hit by Ida. Devastating floods on Wednesday night killed 47 people in and around the U.S. Megacity, causing widespread damage. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.